Well, hello everyone. Welcome to my review of The Irishman. And oh my god, it's everything I expected this movie to be. It is amazing in every way. Is it perfect? No. But it is still a masterpiece, at least for me. So it stars, here we go, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci. And yes, there's Ray Romano, Anna Paquin. Those are some of like the other big actors, but the movie mainly revolves around these three characters. Robert De Niro's character is basically he's a World War II veteran. Joe Pesci's character, Russell, he's a crime boss, and Al Pacino's character is basically a union leader. That's a very basic way of saying what they are. The movie does so well because it really focuses on the characters. It lets them breathe. It's their lives basically span out over a long time. I mean, they show there's de-aging process that have been done. So they basically show them when they were young and then in their mid years and then the later years. So it spans a lot, like a big huge chunk of their lives, and it shows from where they started, how they met, and towards the end, literally how everything ended. Now, how I perceive this movie to be is that it was a mafia film, if you want to call it a crime film. It was all there, but it really focused on where these characters were, where they were coming from, and Robert De Niro's character, Frank Sheeran, he's called the Irishman. The movie is based on him. He's basically like the middle guy. So at one extreme you have Russell. He has his views and he wants to do things his way. And you have on the other end Al Pacino, and he has his views and he wants to do his way. I'm going to start with Robert De Niro. I think this is one of his films. He brings that calm but dangerous demeanor to it. Something I think he did with The Godfather 2 there, but I think that's something I would match to it. That he brought that family guy. He's smiling, he's laughing, but if there's a job needs to be done, he goes, he does it. No tears, does it, comes back, that's that. Al Pacino, on the other hand, plays what he's good at. The screaming, the all out there kind of character. They use it in a brilliant way, in a smart way. It's actually kind of sink in. It's what he is. It's the reason a lot of the things happen because of his attitude, because he doesn't want to listen, because he is hot-headed. And they take that character towards that. They use that and they show how it can actually come back at you and it can really affect your progress. Russell, on the other end, played by Joe Pesci, was actually the biggest surprise. Usually he's a character that you're waiting for him to just go off. And we all know the great scene from Goodfellas where he loses it. I think Martin Scorsese, who directed this movie, kind of recreated it without actually created that kind of scene in this movie. There is a particular scene, they're sitting at a diner, either Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci, they're having a chat, and this some other guy, and there's a thing that happens, but it's done in a smart way, and you're surprised by his character because he's the one actually who's, you want to say, is the mastermind. He's like the one who's the thinker. He's very restrained. It's very different from what Joe Pesci usually does. And I think out of all of them, he's the one who surprised me most. Al Pacino's first time, from what I remember, and I'm pretty sure I'm right, it's his first time working with Martin Scorsese. So him finally coming together with Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro all in that one screen, it is amazing. The other thing this movie really does well, that yes, there is humor in it, but it never overstays. It never goes to the point where like, okay, now is this like a comedy now? No. They use it smartly. They use it really, really well. There's this whole sequence where, as I said, Robert De Niro is the middle character, so he has to listen to Joe Pesci's character. He's the one who does the jobs, and he has to listen to Al Pacino's, Jimmy Hoffa's character, and they basically, one character is telling him to do something, the other character is telling him to do something. There's this whole sequence where it's just back and forth. They show him with Jimmy Hoffa, Al Pacino's character, and they're going at it, and then he goes back to Russell, and they're going back at it, and then he tells something that is this whole sequence. It's smart. The writing, the execution there is perfect, but it's done in a way you're like, man, he really is the middle character. He has to listen to both, and he has to try to find the middle ground, do what they're both telling them. Very, very well done. It is a long movie. It's a 3.5-hour movie. It never felt that way. Not for a single minute. I was like, okay, this gotta end. My one negative about this movie, it does not take away from the movie. It does not lower the rating of the movie. So Robert De Niro is a family man. He has like 4 daughters. The one daughter they focus on is in the older, I forgot the younger actress's name, but in the older years, she's played by Anna Paquin. Now, in the younger years, they show her that she knows what her dad is getting into. They don't really talk much. She doesn't really say anything to him about it, but she knows there's stuff that happens in front of her, and they also show her relationship with basically like her uncles, so Jimmy Hoffa and Russell, and what her views are towards each of them. One, she's actually very friendly with. She likes spending time with like their family. On the other hand, the other character she does not like. Now, it's conveyed very well and it's done really well. But the problem, I think, starts when the characters are in our older years. There are some scenes where the character actually in the older years doesn't even talk much. But the way the acting and the way the scene is done, you see where she's coming from. And you expect a big conclusion. And the last half an hour movie, that's where I think the things fell apart a little, was that part of the movie where we don't really get the conclusion that you would be thinking that that character would get. The way they handled the character at the end, I understand why they did that, but I wish there was a better ending to it, considering what came before. So that was my one negative out of everything. The de-aging process, the CGI they did to make them all look younger, was really, really good. There are times where, not that the CG was bad, but you basically think, okay, do they actually look like that, or would they look like that when they would be at that age? So that's something that runs through your head, but because it's done so well, you go with it. You don't really question it because it's done so well. The CGI was really, really good, and I was surprised considering this was like, I mean, it's not like a regular big budget movie, but it's done so well. And yeah, like I can keep going. It's the story, the characters, I fell in love with. It started at a certain point. It took them on a journey, and it gave them, all these characters, a proper conclusion. There's literally a scene at the end, and I'm not going to spoil what they were doing, but there's a scene at the end where some of these characters are together and they're just doing something, and it's a wide shot of just them. The camera's just showing what they're doing and they're talking, and you realize at that point it's like, wow, all of this, all the money and all the crimes and all the shootings and all of that, and this is where we are. And you're, as a viewer, you're just thinking like, was it all worth it? Like, where did life go? And it really shows what, like, the top, when they were top of the game, when they were at the end of the road, it really portrays that really, really, really well. So yeah, in my head, basically, I love this movie. Yeah. Again, I think it's a masterpiece. Minus a small nitpick that I have against one of the characters with what they did with Robert De Niro's character's daughter in the movie. More towards the end. I think the first half, everything was really well done. Even in the second half, you're thinking it's gonna go somewhere, but the way it concludes, I just think they should have added a bit more. But other than that, everything was really, really well done. It's definitely a must-watch. If you don't have Netflix, get it for a month at least. Go watch this movie. If you can find it in a theater near you, even better, go watch it. I watched it on Netflix and on the big screen, and I had the time of my life. It's a 3.5-hour movie. Never did I feel that I need to get up, or this movie needs to end, or it needs to just, I'm tired of this. Never at a single point I felt that the movie sucked or anything like that. It was very, very well done. So with that, my rating with this is, yep, it's a 10 out of 10. Even with the small negative, I still think it's Martin Scorsese has made his masterpiece. I think in time, there are some criticisms around this movie, but I think in time we'll love it even more as time goes on and as I watch it. I don't even know if these actors will come together. I mean, it took this long for Al Pacino to finally appear in a Martin Scorsese movie, so who knows if we ever Martin actually directs him again. But yeah, if this is the last time, they went out with the bang. So yeah, go watch the movie. You will not regret it. And with that, guys, thanks for watching my review, and I will see you guys later. Ta-ta.